Hey guys, welcome. It has been a hot minute since I made a video. I think it's been 3 weeks since my last upload, so I am sorry about that. I'm going to tell you guys in this video what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks. It's a lot of like reset, organizing stuff, tell you a little bit about my holidays. This is going to be a very super casual, like coffee chat, off the cuff. I've got like some crappy handwritten notes of things that I wanted to mention. And yeah, we're just going to go through kind of prepping for the new year. And if you stay tuned until the end, I'm going to be one of these people right now. If you stay tuned until the end, I've got a surprise. Something I've been working on that I am super excited to share with you guys. So stay tuned. Okay. Let's hope third time is a charm for recording this intro, because I've already recorded it twice and I had the first one, an Amazon notification popped up and did the loud beep all around my house. The second one, my earring just fell out and I had to go fix that. So yeah, let's try this again. First, the biggest question, how was your holiday? You holding up okay? This is my third year without libs, and that seems insane to me. It's my second year without my mom. And that's also really weird because holidays were like her thing. Her whole identity was wrapped up in the holidays. And yeah, I've talked about that before. The loss of traditions that I've gone through, like nothing is the same. And it's still weird. And this is a year where it really sunk in, like, this is how it's going to be. Like, it's never going to be the same. And that is really hard. So I had some of my biggest meltdowns over the holiday just over the fact that this is what it is. This is what my life is now. I've got 2 adult kids and I live by myself, and I was able to share the holidays with David and my boys because he's nice enough to let me come over there to his house where they live. And so I did get to spend good time with them, and that was really nice. And oh my gosh, the sweetest thing, you know, David and I kind of still went all out for the boys and did presents under the tree. And, you know, I was there Christmas morning with them, and Max was sitting on the couch after it was all over and was like, how long are you guys going to do this for us? Because he's going to be 22 in 3 days. And he's like, how long are you going to do like the big, you know, bunch of presents thing? And I was like, you know what? As long as you let me, because I love doing it. It makes me still feel like a mom. But then you have those highs like that, those moments of like, oh, that makes me feel so good. He said, you know, I was like, well, until you get your own family and you want to do your own thing. And he's like, Mom, I think even if I have my own family, I'll still want to, you know, be wherever you are on Christmas morning. I'm like, dude, I love you. I love that kid. That made me feel so good. But then you look over and Libby's stocking is still hanging empty. You know, it's like, fuck. It never goes away. It's always there. It's always tinging even the good parts. And I've gotten better over the years of trying to focus on the better parts, but it's still really hard. So for me, it was kind of like getting through the holiday stuff and then kind of focusing on recharging. I have the longest break I've ever had from school. It's a full 2 weeks. First time in 23 years I've ever had a full 2 weeks off of school with the holiday. Yay! It's glorious. I have to go back in 3 days and there's a snowstorm coming and I'm like, please. The very minimum, can we have a 2-hour delay? Because it's just, man, I know some people say like, oh, I wouldn't like not having a routine or something like that, but I can totally work from home. I am content in my house. I always find stuff to do, and I just enjoy kind of being a homebody. So, oh, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough going back. Okay, I'm rambling. I'm sorry. So what I want to focus on in this video are the areas that I am choosing to focus on this year. Like I said, I don't do resolutions I did actually pick a word this year. If you've heard of like picking a word of the year that you kind of focus, that you use as your mantra, and kind of along the lines of what I was talking about with Christmas, my word this year, I think, is going to be content. My biggest problem, I think, is that I struggle with contentment. Even though I've accomplished a bunch of amazing things, I always see other people doing more and then feel like I'm not good enough. So, and I hate that about myself. That's something I've always struggled with. And it's put a damper, honestly, on my happiness. So I am just really going to try to be content with what I have and focus on the good things this year. I'm going to try. Knock on wood, we'll be able to do that. But okay, so the areas I'm going to focus on, and this is what I've been doing. I haven't made any videos because I've been trying to rest and recharge because I need it. I absolutely need it.
I'm exhausted.
And part of resting and recharging for me is like organizing and cleaning. And I know that probably sounds crazy to some people, but for me, it's something that I like. I like being organized. I like having a clean house. It brings me calm. It brings me security. I'm able to relax much more if I have a system for things. So let's get into the things that I am focusing on this year that I've kind of started to focus on already, transitioning into this new year period. Okay, let's get to it. So the first area that I am choosing to focus on is money and budgeting. I have always sucked with money. I'm being completely honest. Not that I sucked with it, I just didn't have it. I had kind of a twisted relationship with money because growing up, my dad had a ton of money. He was like a big Mr. Big businessman. My mom had no money. It was a very nasty divorce. And we'd live with my mom, like barely scraping by. And then every other weekend we'd be with my dad. And looking back, I didn't appreciate it then, but looking back now as an adult, I feel so sorry for my mom because he was like the quintessential fun dad who got to do all the fun shit with us. Like every time we were with him, he would take us on shopping sprees and take us on vacations. And we'd go to his house in Florida and his house in Ocean City and ride on his boat. And it was like not the real world, but I saw it like that was what I wanted. Like that seemed like normal life to me, or like what I wanted to achieve, unlike the struggling of like the daily life living with my mom. Here's the thing though, like my parents didn't talk about money at all. My mom talked about how she didn't have it. My dad spent it like water and like didn't think anything of it. But neither of them taught us anything.
I had no knowledge whatsoever.
So budget, my biggest problem with my budget, and I'm just full disclosure here, doing what I do, this grief stuff and writing and whatever, it costs a lot of money. I know it doesn't seem like it might because you just need, you know, a camera and some recording equipment and a microphone and whatever, but there are monthly subscriptions that you have to have. The thing where I record this, it's a couple $100 a year. It adds up very quickly. And to get anything to sell, like my book, to advertise my book, I have to pay advertising money. And it doesn't matter that I've sold quite a lot more books than most typical self-published authors. Like the amount it brings in doesn't cover what I need. So I have been losing money doing this since I started.
Cue sad trombone and go.
It was getting to the point where I was asking myself over the holidays, like, do I continue to do this? Because it was getting stressful, the amount of money that I was spending on it. So part of my budgeting was figuring out how to reduce like the business expenses for that side of my life. So if you notice any differences in anything that I do, it might be because I'm cutting out some things that I used to have to pay for as far as editing and recording and all that kind of stuff. And the ways that I've tried to earn money haven't really panned out, in all honesty. So I tried doing like getting interesting courses and no one was interested in any sort of course. I have like buy me a coffee on here. I think I've had 2 people total in 3 years do that. I don't charge for stuff that's on my website for resources and things like that because I feel crappy charging people for things related to grief. When you're grieving, I don't want to take your money. And partly that's my problem. I know, like, if I want to run this like a business, I need to get better at that. But it also, it gives me the ick factor. And I haven't been able to get past the ick. So all of that to say, I'm trying to figure out how to make this more sustainable. And my book definitely helps. So if you haven't bought my book yet, Grief Sucks, but Your Life Doesn't Have to, it's on Amazon. That's my number one source of income for right now. But still, it's not a ton. So I'm trying to make this work. The other thing is that I am gearing up for retirement. It's not super close, but it's on the horizon. And I just feel like I need to start saving more money than I have been, just to feel more comfortable with that as an option. So with all that said, I'm doing some things this year. I am doing a low buy year. So for this year, I kind of made a list for myself, a list of rules of things that I'm not going to buy in order to try to save money. I'm just going to be much more conscious about making sure I use up things that I have in my house before I go buy new stuff. And I'm also trying the cash envelope system. I have followed Dave Ramsey for years and years and years. That was where I got most of the lessons that I learned about money that I didn't get from either of my parents or school growing up. But now I'm kind of, I've buckled down in the past couple of years. It's nothing like losing the people that you love. There's nothing like it for teaching you what's important, and that doesn't matter what size house you have or how nice it is or, what brand of clothing you're wearing. I used to care about all that stuff, and I don't give a shit about any of it anymore because I know that it's not important. And the people that really love me don't care. Wish I could go back and kick myself in the butt and tell myself that as a younger person. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I've never done the cash envelope system because I've always used debit cards. I did use credit cards, but I got into trouble with those. And actually, that's how I found Dave Ramsey. I paid all those off. And that took a really long time. So now I'm in a good spot, having followed the principles of Dave Ramsey, where I am no longer in debt. I've got my emergency fund. So I'm in a good place that way, but I just need to start saving and investing more to get ready for retirement. And because I use a debit card, I did a lot of just swipe it, not really thinking about what I was spending. So I thought the cash stuffing system might be helpful. So what I did, with all that said, I made myself a budget binder. Doing like ASMR. That's just habit for me. So it's a budget binder that has a calendar in here. I kind of created it myself. I think they call it in the planning world like a Franken planner. So I just put stuff together all on my own, where I've got like, the calendar, and I write in when my bills are due and all that kind of stuff. And I still do pay. Well, okay, I'm not going to get into everything that I do. If you want to see a video about this, let me know in the comments, because I'm happy to go into like detail about what I'm doing and how I budget and how I stuff my envelopes. But I'm not going to bore you with that if you're not interested right now. But this is especially going to be helpful for me, I think, in the areas of food and groceries, household items, and just kind of like miscellaneous stuff that I would spend money on that I probably didn't need. mostly Amazon. So working on that Amazon problem. Okay, so that is budget. First thing I'm focusing on, and part of the past 3 weeks that I haven't made videos, I've been hunkering down, creating those printables for myself, making the binders, that kind of stuff, and coming up with the envelope system that I want to use. Again, if you want to see a video, comment below. I'm happy to share. Second place I'm focusing, and then I have focused in the past 3 weeks, decluttering and cleaning. You guys know I love to declutter. I'm verging on minimalism, and I'm just not happy in a mess. I am not. When I had my Christmas stuff out and I was wrapping presents and I had wrapping paper out for like a couple days straight because I'm like, why put it away if more presents are coming and I'm just going to have to wrap them? It was driving me crazy. So I was actually, as much as I love my Christmas decorations, I was super happy to just spend a day taking everything down and cleaning everything top to bottom. And I basically reset like my whole house. I did a whole house declutter again, all the things that I could find, you know, to get rid of, took a bunch of clothes to donate, just move stuff around so it would make more sense. And I also created a cleaning schedule, a weekly cleaning schedule for myself, because I tend to be so tired during the week from teaching that I'm like a weekend warrior, and I've been spending my whole weekend doing all of the cleaning and organizing and shopping and all that kind of stuff. And my whole weekend would be gone and I wouldn't get to rest. And I'm finding that I really need that time to myself to rest, to recharge, or else I burn out. The third thing that I focused on was this stuff, the grief work that I do and the writing that I do, and kind of like I hate to call it a business, but kind of the business side of my life. So coming up with video ideas, coming up with schedules for things, how often I'm going to post. I think what I'm going to be doing in this new year is posting a video on YouTube, like a full-length video like this, every other week. And then on the opposite weeks, I have Morning Coffee, the podcast, on Sundays. I have, you guys, holy crap, I have the most amazing, I don't know how this happened. I have the most amazing guests coming on in this spring season. It's insane. It's like literally dream guests that I never thought would want to come on my podcast. So I am super stoked that I'm getting to the point where people know me enough that they actually want to come on my podcast. And oh my God, I'm so excited about it. So yeah, stay tuned for those. It's every other Sunday at 11 a.m. live. You can watch live and ask questions and communicate with us if you want to, or you can always catch the replays on YouTube. But oh, I'm so excited about these guests that I have coming up. I also have Morning Coffee. There is a very special episode. February 9th will be the 3-year anniversary of Libby's death. And David and I are going to do another 3-year update video. So I'm sure that will be emotional. But I know a lot of people like checking in with us and watching those when we do that. So that'll be February 9th that he'll be here, and we'll make a video just kind of telling you how we're doing. All right. So then the last thing that I'm trying to focus on is kind of, I call it like health and mental health. So part of that with the mental health stuff is making sure ties into the other stuff, that I feel like I have my shit together and I feel organized and I'm getting things cleaned in little bunches. Because like I said, I function much better when I am in an uncluttered, organized space and my life is organized and I have stuff scheduled where I leave myself breaks to recharge. The other thing that I'm doing health-wise, I'm going to make sure that I walk more than I have been. It's hard in the winter. It's really cold. And sometimes I've been blowing it off when I shouldn't. I do also do the indoor videos, but I'm going to be honest, I have slacked with that big time over the past month. So I'm going to really, like I said, I think I was just kind of burnt out. Teaching does that. You really need that break. So starting again this January, I am going to try to get back into doing those videos on a regular schedule. And also continuing the meal prep and trying to make sure that I'm eating, healthy meals, getting the vitamins and the nutrients that I need, and trying to stay healthy that way. And guys, that brings me to, this kind of brings together the budget thing and the health thing.
The time has come.
One of the biggest things that I've been focusing on in the past few weeks is actually something that I got from you guys. The meal prep videos that I do on this channel, that is typically like the number one thing that people ask me for and that they say they want to see. And people I've gotten feedback that those videos are so helpful for people. So what I decided to do was create a cookbook. I don't know if you can see. So it is called Bare Minimum Meals, Comfort Food for Hard Days. And so this is my copy. I printed it out and I took it to the UPS store to get spiral printed, but this is actually available for sale now on Amazon. And it's only available as an ebook, like a Kindle download, unfortunately. I am going to have it on my website where you can get a printable download. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to get it actually to like print and send it to you like this, but you can always, because it's pretty small, I didn't want to overwhelm people. So you can print it out and staple it or paper clip it or whatever. You don't have to get it nice and spiraled like mine. But essentially what it is just a lot of the recipes that I make in my meal preps. And it's exactly like it says, comfort food for hard days. It's making sure you get the food that you need when you're feeling like shit. Like breakfasts or when you can't even, right? Because mornings are hard, whether it's grief or stress or whatever. So things like overnight. So here's like a preview for you. You've got overnight oats, egg muffins, breakfast cookies, just super easy peasy stuff. All of my go-to meals that I eat. And they are all able to be, you can make more of them or less of them as needed for you. I live by myself, so I usually make stuff just for myself, but you can easily like double or triple the recipes to make them for your family. Some things I make to last me a whole week. So, it's already set up to feed a family if you wanted it to. But anyway, so yeah, this is going to be for sale on Amazon and on my website, and I will put the links below for you to get both of those. But it is just, it's a way to help other people, but also help me maintain my channel. So I was trying to think of things that I could make for people that would, help me provide a little bit of income for this channel, because I do have like the super thanks and the memberships on here, but being honest, like no one ever does that. So I had to come up with some ways to kind of keep this sustainable. So I'm hoping that this will be a little, a way that enough people will be interested that perhaps it could add a little bit of income and reduce the stress of the budget for the business stuff. So I think that's it. What do you guys have going on for the new year? I would love to hear if do you have a word for the year? Do you have resolutions that you're making? Are you just like, F it, I'm still just trying to survive, which is totally fine. You don't have to do anything for the new year. I'm just rambling and letting you know what I do. It's still the same me, new year, same me, just fine tuning some things, no huge lofty goals, just trying to get organized. So love to hear from you guys in the comments. If there's anything that you want me to make videos on, you could also leave that in the comments, because I'm planning out my video schedule. And I would love to add any videos that you guys would be interested in hearing about. So go ahead and leave me topics in the comments. I have rambled for enough. Cheers to the new year. Hang in there, guys, and I will see you next time. Sending love and hugs.